What is going on, guys? This is All Gaming with my review of Bleach chapter 595. And this chapter, it was definitely weird, and that ending right there actually sparked my interest, because I do wonder what's going on with Kensei and Rose now. Because that right there I found intriguing, because before we saw that they didn't have those black markings on their head, but now they do, so I do wonder what right there, what they represent. But the chapter itself, it starts off with Hisagi versus Byakuya, and obviously there's no way Hisagi is going to win this fight, because Byakuya is on a whole nother level. Even though he has a Kensei right now backing him up, there's just no way that like Hisagi can win. I knew that while reading that chapter, because that really should have been obvious. Like, if he really thought that Byakuya was going to lose to Hisagi, then that right there, would have been so wrong. But this guy now, Pepe, he was just rambling on and on about love. I seriously just wanted Byakuya, to ignore Hisagi and to go over there, and take him out. That right there would have been hilarious. But we see now that Byakuya does strike down Hisagi. Well, not really strike down, but he knocked him out pretty easily. And so we see now that with Hisagi now unconscious, then obviously he can focus on Pepe. But Pepe here, which is so set on making Byakuya, love him, and we see Byakuya has some pretty good reflexes, because we saw before that he dodged the first one, but then Pepe here pulled out some kind of tricky technique where it's like a tractor beam of his heart, because we saw kind of painting on the buildings, but we saw the Byakuya, use this torch to cut it. But that right there, was something that he shouldn't have done. Because now Pepe can actually control his Zanpakuto, because we all know that Zanpakuto, they are spirits, and so obviously that spirit right there, it should have a heart. But we see now that before his sword even hurt him, Byakuya, he did toss it away, but that right there, kind of like a mistake, because we saw that now we have Hisagi, using his sword, and even though he couldn't use the abilities, it did allow him, to wield it. And so right now we see that Byakuya, will thinking about, what he should have done, because he could use Kido, but if he does use that, he can actually, kill Hisagi. But he thought that if it had been one of his arms that was manipulated, he could just cut that off, and that right there, was a bit extreme. But if we all remember that when his arms were, manipulated by the Aphid Spada, Byakuya only cut the tendons in them, so that way they be useless. But he was saying that he was careless on hesitating to whether break his own sword or to just toss it aside. But now we see that he actually does get hit by one of Pepe's love attacks, and he could still fight. So that right there was pretty beastie. But Pepe was actually no joke, because the fact that this guy can actually make Zanpakutos love him, that right there was also one of the reasons why he never took a Bankai when they first attacked. But now we see this guy actually go into his holy Kensei form, and holy crap, I cringed so freaking hard, because that right there is creepy. God's love, that right there is just so freaking nasty. But now we see that he takes on this Cupid looking appearance, and we see that he actually used this love rope to trap Byakuya. And so we see now that when Hisagi was actually going to strike this devastating blow to him, we see that Pepe stop him, because he had one Byakuya to die to his love. So when he formed this arrow from his mouth, to shoot at him, we have Kensei, I believe it was Kensei, one of them come out of nowhere and just kick the guy in the face. But that kick right there, even though it did seem it did some good damage to Pepe, I feel he is not taken out. But that right there is just me. But now we have Kensei and Rose showing them, and like I said, they have these black markings on their faces, and I just want to know what that means. But now not only does Byakuya have to deal with Hisagi, if he is still if he's still falling for Pepe's love, but now he got to deal with like Kensei and Rose as well. Now, what would like really be awesome if we have Hisagi versus Kensei, and Hisagi actually brings out his bad cut on Kensei, because we all know that like right before the war had started, Kensei was like training him. So the fact that like Hisagi was using on him to save him, that right there would be awesome. And Byakuya versus Rose, that right there can also be a pretty interesting fight. But like I said, this like chapter was weird, but the ending right there, it sparked my interest. So for that, I'm gonna give this chapter probably a 7, a 7 out of 10. But of course, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And as always, please do not forget to like the video and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.